Hi, I'm Charisse, and I'm currently at ESA Winter 2019. You're about to watch ElkjaerTV run Horizon Zero Dawn, so enjoy.
All right. So, let's get ready for Horizon Zero Dawn. All right, so we're going to be doing New Game Plus of the Frozen Wilds. So let's get right into it. And I pressed the red button right in front of me, right? Yeah. Yep. So timing starts as soon as I skip the first cutscene here. So, since we're doing New Game Plus, we don't have to do the childhood section of the game, which means we start right away when Aloy is already an adult. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting off right off the bat, I'm pretty sure most people can already tell that I'm rolling for a reason, and that's because it's faster.
Where's he gone to?
So, you're gonna be seeing me rolling a lot. It's the fastest form of movement when you don't have a mount in the game. So whenever I'm not riding, I try to roll as much as possible, going from A to B to speed it up. So right off the bat here, we actually have to complete the first 3 quests of the main quest in order to leave the Embrace area, which is the starting area of the game, because we cannot get to the Frozen Wilds without completing the first 3. So we just have to get through those, and yeah, should only take about 10 minutes.
From outside the Embrace.
So the first quest here, we basically have to go hunt sawtooths with Rust here.
Yeah.
And for conversations here, I'm just mashing X to get through them as fast as possible. We don't really need the story when we're going fast.
What sort of beast
It's basically the main game story, because we are not going to be playing through that. Even though the Frozen Wild story actually ties in pretty well to the main game. So coming up here is the sawtooth, which we're basically going to freeze and then hit him with a triple shot in his eyes, because that's the fastest way to kill him. Because when you freeze enemies, they do get a lot more, or they take a lot more damage. So you're essentially just gonna see me freeze him over, like so. Before you even get a chance to attack, boom, he's dead. And that skips the and that completes the first fight there. And when I say I'm using a triple shot, it means I'm shooting 3 arrows at once. So now we're heading to the next section where we're gonna do the proving, but first some story is gonna be set up. Again, it's the main quest story. Doesn't really matter at all for this run. So, so I guess a thing we can point out here is what is special about the ultra hard difficulty, which I'm currently playing on. The ultra hard difficulty is the hardest difficulty in the game, and it's also a little bit special compared to the other difficulties. So the main thing, as for when we're speedrunning here, is on ultra hard there's no aim assist, so we are playing this completely without aim assist. Another thing is machines are also a lot more aggressive, which actually plays a big role here in the DLC, because the enemies of the DLC is also very aggressive towards us already. So when we when we get the ultra hard aggressive thing. What's a good way to explain it? Essentially, there's less time in between their attacks, where their downtime in between their attacks is just a lot lower, and they will start attacking you a lot earlier. That means we're gonna have to dodge and a lot of attacks throughout this run. What else is there about ultra hard? There's no health bars, so we have no idea how much health the enemy's on. Obviously, we have a regular idea, because we know how much damage we have dealt, and usually they take the same amount of damage every time, as long as you hit the shot correctly. So now we're just getting through this, doing some small skips here over the rivers to get to this place. Again, this is just setting up the game here. So if anybody will watch the run I did it last summer for the main game, you're gonna see a lot different skip here when we go into proving, because a new skip has actually been found that's good amount faster.
The-
Not a whole lot
oh,
faster,
but
a good amount.
Oh,
And it makes it a little bit more interesting, so. But first we just have to get to it. So coming up here we have some grazers that we need to kill. We need to kill and loot 2 grazers here in order to progress to the next area of the proving. So the way we're going to do that is use a blast sling to essentially blow them up and loot one as fast as we can. So first here they are just going to come running at a group here, so we're just going to get in the line of the way. We want to hit the ground because that does more splash damage. So there's a bigger chance you kill more of them and have more to loot. And the second one is just going to run and fight on us and kill them like that. The enemies do behave very similarly for the most part in these sections. There's a lot of small scripted stuff you can abuse too. Kind of manipulate or essentially kill them while they're doing those specific things, because it's always going to be the same thing. There are some RNG to some fights, but for the most part machines usually do the same thing at the start, and you're going to see more of that later on in the run here. So coming up here is going to be the proving skip, which was found by another runner named Everyday Aussie, who is really good at finding skips. So he was able to make a little extension to the proving skip we already had that I did last summer.
faster. Stop
So
dragging.
coming up here, after I have climbed past this stuff here, I am gonna go out of bounds and essentially abuse the checkpoints to get a little earlier to the proving fight.
Good. I'm gaining.
So right here, I'm just jumping across these logs here.
The outcast is catching
I'm
up.
gonna run off. I'm gonna
How did
aim
you
my
get up
weapon
there?
when I land. When I aim my weapon while I land, that takes away the falling damage animation, so I can just go immediately.
I've trained my whole
And coming
life
up
for
here,
this,
we're gonna go straight to the left here. So this is the new
try.
part.
but I had
Where
to
we go up the side of the wall here. I just did that correctly, that was perfect. So now we are out of bounds, and coming up here, I'm gonna go over this rock. Going over this rock, I'm gonna hit a death wall, but as soon as I go over the rock, I have just enough time to go to the left and hit the checkpoint for the proving fight. So it essentially respawns me right into the fight here, where we just have to kill these guys as fast as possible, and pretty much all of them dies
Too
in
many
one
of
shot.
them. We can't win. They're all
Second
with
fight
us.
here, it's important you don't miss a single shot on the first 2 guys, because that's going to make these guys stop up in their path
They keep
for whatever
coming.
reason.
Watch out! There's
How many
more.
are there?
And then there's the guy up here, and then we can jump and hit this guy, because he already always peeks his head. He is scripted to do that. And that's pretty good. And I'm going to load in a triple shot here, because there's going to be a heavy enemy I'm going to have to kill here in this section for the last part. Going to go to the right side here and kill this guy to the left, because when you go too far enough to the right, this guy is always going to jump down. Not always, but I'll say most of the time. And that was a really good proving. Because you need to... thank you. In order to finish the proving, you need to loot that guy. That's why you want him to jump down, so you can loot him from the ground and don't have to climb up after him.
They must have found me before I bled out.
So people have probably noticed that I'm wearing kind of like a shining armor, or it has those neon effects, whatever you want to call them.
With the rest
This is the Shield Reaver armor, which is a special armor you can unlock. That essentially gives you an extra shield. So if you look to the top left corner, my health bar is blue. That means I have a full shield, and it kind of works like in Halo. Everybody has played Halo, where you have your shield, and then after that you lose regular health. So the shield is basically just used to tank a lot of hits, so we don't have to dodge them instead.
Why did you
And
bring me
also a lot of attacks are one hits when you don't have the Shield Reaver on. There's still attacks that can kill you in one shot, but a lot less attacks when you use the Shield Reaver. So right here we're just waiting for Tarsa here. You're supposed to follow her, but again you can just go to the end and wait for her.
Aloy.
And after we complete this quest that we're currently doing here, the Womb of the Mountain, we are going to be able to leave the Embrace area. And then we'll be on our way to the Frozen Wilds, which is the area to the far north of the map. So it is going to take a little while to get there, but on the way we have some stuff we can go into as well. And also, since it's New Game Plus, I essentially just have all my weapons from a previous playthrough, which I have specifically set up to fulfill the needs of this run. So I have all the stuff I need, all the ammo, all the weapons. All my weapons are set up with the weapon mods for the damage I want to have and other stuff. On the way to the Frozen Wilds, you can go a little bit more into the weapons I'm using. But for now, we are going to be on the way to the first Corruptor fight, or the Demon fight, as I personally call it, which is a very scripted fight, and we are going to abuse that to the full effect. What? I have no idea. Maybe it's in audio settings. Oh. Good deal. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just got a little interrupted there. I think there's an issue with the sound, but we'll get that fixed. So what I wanted to do here is walk off this cliff and then roll when I get halfway down there, because that way I can skip down a lot faster. So coming up here, as I was saying, there's the Corruptor fight, where we have to kill the Corruptor here. There's also a lot of Striders. We don't have to kill them, but we're gonna do it anyway, because they have a tendency to get in our way.
I need
You, but
if you or do
I
and
So I'm gonna use these proximity bombs, which is essentially just landmines here to create a little, basically minefield here around the door. That's gonna take away the Striders to make sure they don't hit these bombs, because the Corruptor is gonna land right here. He's scripted to do that. And then, and as soon as he lands here, he's gonna hit the bombs, and I hit him in the head, and he's
I can't.
and that's how fast you can take out him. I know a lot of people usually have trouble with that fight when they first play the game. Obviously on New Game Plus, since you already have really good weapons, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah. So right here we are gonna call for a mount here, because in order to leave this Embrace Gate, we need a mount. You're supposed to override a mount, but since we already have the skill, we can just call for one, and then the gate just breaks and stops this cutscene.
Am I?
no. Yeah. Isn't where would
You might.
And there we go. So now we're outside on the Embrace, and then we're gonna head straight north to the Frozen Wilds area, where the Frozen Wilds is gonna take place. And on the way here I can explain some more stuff, but I think we should do some donations right now, because it is a little bit long of a ride, so let's get some donations.
Alright, there is $5 from Cherise saying, I lost the candy challenge. Here is to an awesome ESA. We have $20 from Kimibo saying, first donation ever, had to be during Elk's run. I prayed to the Mount God all night for a PB. Hopefully there's no crash this time. Bless RNG. Good luck for the run, and let's see the flying Neddy glitch after. So I would like to remind everyone that there is a $200 incentive to make ElkjaerTV showcase the flying mount glitch, by the way.
my focus is picking up some kind of sick those ruins. That must be Devil's Thirst.
You're free to do a couple more donations if you have.
Of the metal, I'm still getting a signal from my focus.
Currently there are no donations coming in, but I would like to remind you guys about our partners, Twitch, Elgato, and ViewSonic Elite, and also, of course, the city of Växjö.
Alright, so on the way here we're just going to be riding on a mount, because it's our fastest transport. This is, by the way, the mount. If you want to see the flying glitch later, this is the mount we're going to be using for that. Not this specific mount, but essentially this mount. Because there's a way to make him fly.
Burl said War
kinda
Chief
cool.
Sona went after the killers from the Proving.
Oh yeah,
Maybe I
right
should
here
try
we
find her.
basically are just heading north. There's not really much to say here. just gonna do a few skips getting over these lakes and stuff, or rivers, because they're slightly faster to cut the corners on the way. On the way here, I'm gonna be using mostly the roads to traverse the terrain, because the mount actually runs faster when it's on a road. So if you see me not take maybe a straight line, it's usually because I'm sticking to the road, because the mount is just a lot faster on road rather than off road. So I guess I can go into the weapons I'm going to be using. The bow I currently have on, which is the striker bow. It's actually from the DLC itself, the Frozen Wilds. It has an ability that when you fully pull back the bow, it's going to do a lot more damage. So pretty much every shot I'm ever going to be firing with this bow is going to be fully charged up, because that way it just gets a damage bonus per shot. And that's why I'm able to do quite a lot of damage if you're going to retract this bow before. You've also seen basically the ice thrower, or the ice rail, which I'm using to freeze machines. It's essentially just a flamethrower that shoots ice instead and freezes the machines. Gonna see it a lot more, because freezing machines is is really effective against most of them, because you can kill a lot of them in one shot if they're frozen already. Granted, freezing also does a little bit of damage to them, depending on the machine, so that's just an added bonus. There's also the blasting, which I used for the proximity bombs for the demon, and obviously the regular blast bombs, which I mainly use on smaller enemies, which I can kill in like one shot. We're gonna see a couple more weapons. I also have another bow, which is essentially also a striker bow, but it has a different modification setup, where it's set up with fire coils instead of damage coils. That one I'm gonna be used to set things on fire. In this run, I'm only gonna use it for the Glinthawks, because the Glinthawks, they fall to the ground when they're set on fire, and it just makes it a lot easier to kill. Gonna see that here in a bit once we get to the tallneck in the DLC area. Not like that Glinthawk right there. He could potentially knock me off here, but hopefully he's right here I'm just cutting the corner because it's slightly faster, but that does mean we have to go past all these machines. But hopefully they're not going to be any trouble and they're going to play nice. Usually they just run away from you, especially when there are already other machines going for you. So the cut is essentially the DLC area of the Frozen Wilds, where the Banuk tribe is, which is a tribe that's being a lot more explored in the DLC, because it wasn't really featured at all pretty much in the main game. So we're gonna be working with the Banuk tribe, and essentially the story of the DLC is that there is a volcano that is about to erupt, and it's hard to explain the entire thing, but essentially the volcano is about to erupt, and that would be pretty bad, because the cut area that we're going to, in real life it's known as Yellowstone Park. So I'm pretty sure some people have watched videos late at night about what happens when a volcano at Yellowstone were to erupt. And if you haven't, you can watch it tonight and lose your sleep. I recommend it. But essentially that's what the story is. So coming up here, we are actually at the Grave Hoard now, which is one of the main crests from the main game. Obviously we're not going to do that, but the DLC area here has just been placed right on top of it.
These look like big markings.
And by the way, the other weapons I haven't mentioned yet, I'm going to point them out when we get to them, because they're used for more specific stuff. I'm going to be switching out my weapons since I can only be carrying 4 at a time. So now we just have to climb up here to the top here. We're going to do a little skip on the way to kind of avoid a fight, because there's a Scourger up here we don't want to fight. So we're going to go around him instead. The Scorchers are really annoying, but we're going to fight them later on, just not this one. Just some regular climbing here, and once I get to the other side here, I'm gonna get up here, and then I'm gonna let go, turn around without falling down. I have a tendency to fall down, and that ruins a run. And then we can go over these cliff here. There's a little gap here you can kind of go over. Normally you had to go to the right there, but now we're essentially going over the mountain on the left side here. And if you look, pay attention to the right side, I think you can see the Scorcher right there. He's kind of hiding there, and he's kind of ambushes you when you first get to this area on your first playthrough. But going to that side, you can completely avoid him and continue over all this debris here that's on the ground. And then there's actually a climbing path hidden here in the back that we can use to climb up. That's just a nice little skip to not only avoid that fight, but also it takes a little bit longer to go around the normal way. But mainly the Scourge is kind of annoying and pushes you around. Because he has some really aggressive attacks where he can just launch at you from pretty far
You
distance.
sure you'll be warm
If you
enough
get
up
hit,
here,
you just
Nora?
get knocked over or stunned
I've
for a
worked up
little
a
bit
sweat from
before
the
you can
climb.
move on. So now we have reached the cut. So the first thing we're going to do in the cut is actually we're going to activate the tallneck,
Not that you'll stay
which is
long.
actually a side activity. But in the story, we have to challenge Aratak later, which is the leader of this Banuk tribe. In order to challenge him, we have to do 2 of 4 side activities.
Must be something big
And the
going
side
on.
activities is
Most of the village is moving towards that smoke.
Hey, take this rocket.
so the side activities
started
is
with one of
there's
their
4 things you can do. You can defeat the tallneck or
spouting on
uh,
about spirits.
override
and
the
babies
tallneck.
up on Thunder's drum.
You can collect all 9
I want
collectibles.
She was
You can
not the
defeat the bandit camp or complete a trial at the hunting ground. We are going to do the tallneck and the hunting ground because those are the fastest, mainly because they're right on the way and closer to us. Because getting all 9 collectibles will take forever, and the bandit camp is pretty far away.
I need to talk to her apprentice, who followed the river north.
So right here, I'm going to turn the camera here. You probably saw that earlier as well when I conned for the mount earlier. It's just, the reason why I'm turning the camera for the mount is because he spawns off screen every time. So I'm trying to turn my camera to kind of manipulate him to spawn where I want him to spawn. So in order to activate this tallneck, it's not unlike the other game where you just jump on its back and override it. Here you actually have to get 3 parts that are missing from the tallneck, which has been picked up by these scrapper machines. So the first one here is right with these scrappers here, so I'm going to take out all 3 here around this one, and one of them is going to be carrying this one. He's going to be close to me. 2, so we need 3. There we go, now we have the first part of the tallneck. And then we're going to go straight over to the other one, which is over here in a cave. Now the one that's in the cave, it's actually possible to lure him out with explosions, but we actually want to go into the cave because there's actually a campfire on top of the cave, and the campfire is actually activated by you going into the cave, and we're going to use that campfire later, so that's why it's important for us to go into this cave, even though it's not necessary. Then right here, the Scourge is going to be here. I'm going to roll underneath him so he charges into the cave. And since he's in the cave now, and I'm on the outside, he loses track of us, and he's no longer following me, because he has no idea where I'm at. He's not that smart. And then the last part is going to be up here with some Glinthawks. There's going to be 3 Glinthawks, and one of them is going to have the part, but I'm going to kill all 3, because they can be really annoying if you leave them alive, and push you off this mountain, because we're going to use this mountain for the last part of the tallneck, to kill the last machines. Ignore that watcher, he's not going to do anything. So here's the Glinthawk. I'm going to set them on fire here, so they fall to the ground. I messed up the first one, or the second one there, so I'll let go. It's pretty high, so I'm going to kill his first. Let's see, where is he? Away, but we still got him. Not gonna land, that's bad. Sometimes when they're really high up, they're not gonna fall down. Where did the Glinthawk go? He fell down, that's not good. One that had the part fell down the mountain, so I have to go down to get it. That means I'm gonna have to use a different strat for the last part of the tallneck here. But it is a little slower, so preferably we want the Glinthawk to stay on top here. But last here, there are 6 machines, my bad. There's these 2 Glinthawks and then 4 Scrabbers you have to kill before you can start working on replacing the parts here. So again, we're setting these guys on fire. And then this guy's going to try to fly away. I don't think I hit him enough. There we go. And then we're going to take out these 4 Scrabbers down here. Again, the Blastling is just the most effective because these Scrabbers like to jump around a lot. This makes it a lot faster. Or make sure you actually hit the shot.
Should scan the tallneck. See how deep the damage goes.
Okay. Get up there. Thank you. And then we can start repairing the tallneck here with the 3 parts. Gonna craft some ammo here while we wait for it to be done talking.
I could bring them back. Maybe I can use them. Well, that fits.
Once the parts are replaced, we can go on the tallneck and then override them.
Well, it's in better shape than it was.
That's the first side activity we kind of have to do for this run in order to challenge Aratak a little later on in the run.
And if I'm wrong, at least no one's watching. Can't even make a dent in that thing. This should be a good spot for jumping onto the tallneck.
Right here, we're just gonna jump on and climb to the top here. That's how you
Now
if
to
you have
climb
not
up to
played
the
the game before, that's how you override them. Essentially, they work as you know, control towers where you basically get the whole map explored. We don't really need that, or yeah, we don't really need that since we are only doing it for the side activity requirement. Again, it is the fastest because it's right on the way to where we need to go after this. Now we're going to be on the way to the next fight, which is going to be with Aratak here, which is carried out the DLC, and the repel kind of glitched out there. That happens every now and then, where you kind of get thrown off in the middle of the jump. I think it's because we had that tree on the way down. So on the way there, I'm just going to make sure my weapons are reloaded here, so we can go straight into the fight here. This fight is going to be next to a control tower. Now these control towers have some, kind of have like a pulse, which works as an EMP. And this pulse actually takes away my shield reaver. So you're gonna see when the pulse here is gonna hit me of the tower, my shield is gonna disappear. So that's why we have to be a little careful with this guy. He's gonna go straight at us. I'm gonna try and freeze him here without hitting his belly. Because you don't want his belly to explode, because that knocks you off your feet and you have to get thrown back. And I really don't like this guy being so close to me. That means I'm gonna damage myself, like so. And then we just need to take out these scrappers. And then we can be on our way talking to Aratak here.
Are you
I-
kind
And what she's gonna
So he's gonna tell us about
And
the Shaman or Rhea he needs to find to progress the story, which we have to go through the Shaman's path to get there, which is basically a series of challenges on the way. There's no combat in this section, but there are a few things we're gonna do, a couple of skips and to speed it up, and also a few cycles we want to hit, because there are some cycles with some bridges moving up and down where we need to
these
hit
mountains
them
must be the ice rasps.
in order to not have
Shaman's
to
path
wait for them
begins
later.
somewhere above.
First off here, we are going to go up to the first part of the Shaman's path, which is on top of this mountain. So we're going to ride the first way up here, and then we're going to do a skip up the side here, basically just using the rocks on the side of the mountain here to climb up faster. Like so. Basically the way everybody plays video games. Who takes the regular route when you can just go up the side of the mountain? There's no point in doing that. And the first... Yeah. Alright, so the first part of the Shaman's path here is going to be basically a maze, but obviously the maze doesn't change every time you play the game, so it's going to be the same path every time. But the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to use the side of the wall here. There's a few hitboxes we can stand on, like so. And that way we can get to the top floor of the maze here already, without having to go around for that. And then next up comes some stalkers here, which we're gonna have to go by, and hopefully they're not gonna hit us, because they can actually do a lot of damage real fast, because I'm gonna intentionally lose my shield just because it's faster. Right here is the exit. I'm sure a lot of people have problem finding this, because you're supposed to turn around and then jump up, and most people don't see those climbing spots when they play this. But here's the stalkers. Again, I'm gonna throw myself off the cliff here and aim in when I land. That way I don't get the falling damage animation. And then here next to the stalker, hopefully he's not gonna hit me. I can jump up here, and then we're on the way. So stalkers are not that big of an issue there. You just have to be really fast, otherwise they are gonna hit you and do a lot of damage. Plus, there's 2 of them, so there's the chance that they could actually kill you really fast there. Here are the bridges I was mentioning earlier, where you have to hit the cycles there. The second one here has to be activated, so we're gonna have to do a little skip here by jumping on this ladder and then this rock to get to the middle of the island. Normally you have to go down and climb up to this island, but if you're using the ladder here, that's... Yikes. That's close. Oops. Using that ladder you can jump back. Apparently it's a lot harder to jump back than it is to jump over even, so it's supposed to be the opposite. But yeah, now the bridge is activated and we can get across. Hopefully I made that. It's a little weird when I didn't make... when I fell down I didn't know where the bridge is going to be, so now I have no idea what this bridge is going to be. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait for it because I did not make it. It's a little unfortunate, but... oh well, that's a mistake we were making there. Again, next here that's going to be coming up is another control tower where there's a Frostclaw, one of the new enemies. We don't have to fight the Frostclaw, we basically just go by it, but again, just pay attention to the tower, because the tower is going to have an impact later in the run, where you can see the pulse deactivating my shield. It's also affecting your mount when you're trying to ride by them, which is the thing we're going to see later in the run. It's going to see the pulse there, it comes by, and my shield starts blinking red because it's depleted by the EMP effect there. So yeah, I guess we have time for a little donation or something here while we do the last part of the path here, if there are any.
Alright, there is $5 from Panda Burr saying, finally ESA again. Put this towards the Brutal Legend incentive. Shout out to my dude Maka. There is also another $5 from Anonymous.
Chill almost feels like sunburn.
Nice. So right here, again, we're just using basically the rocks on these mountains to get up here instead of using the intended climbing paths. Essentially, pretty much any rock you see has a hitbox, and you can kind of just use that to go up a lot faster in most places. Oh. One thing you have to be careful when you're rolling all over the place. It's easier to get stuck on things when you're rolling compared to just walking. So now we're going to be inside Aurea's retreat here, where we're going to meet up with Aurea, which is this lost military base here. There's going to be 2 puzzles in here. The first one is just to open the door here in front of us, in the back there. These puzzles are essentially just where you have to get the light back to the center. The first one is fairly easy, it's just a tutorial, and obviously you know the answers when you've been speedrunning them, because they're the same all the time. But yeah, you essentially just have to get them back. The way I personally do it is I do them from the back, because I just found that a lot easier to start from the back and work my way around to the start of the light and then activating it. So that's the way I'm going to be doing all of them. There are 3 in total in this run, and 2 of them are right here. The next one is going to be in a little bit once we get to meet up with Aurea. Well, there's a little downtime in the run, but as soon as we are done here with Aurea's retreat, there's going to be a good amount of action for pretty much the entire rest of the run here. Coming up after this is the hunting ground, which is actually one of the most challenging things in this run because of the unique weapon that we're going to be using there. So yeah, now when we meet up with Aurea here, she basically tells us now that we have to complete some challenges in order to gain enough respect from the Banuk to challenge Aratak to a competition for the Warwick, so we can go to the volcano, because we're not allowed to go there, so we challenge him in order to be able to. And you can actually do all the challenges beforehand, but we're gonna wait with the hunting ground because it's a little later on. I am not. Give me 1 second. There we go.
Not much higher to
Easy
climb.
skip.
Maria was
Supposed to be,
close.
but it's me holding the controller, so
She has to be in here
easy things are
somewhere.
usually the hardest parts of the run. Where was I? Oh yeah, so you can essentially do all the challenges beforehand, but the hunting ground is right after we're done here. So, but it doesn't matter that you have already done the tallneck; it's still gonna count as completed. Once you talk to Araya. Essentially, you just need one more, and if you already had completed
goals
2 of
the
them,
same?
you would be able to
But
go
like
straight to
after the
Aratak
source.
after this, for example. But again, it's just more convenient to do the hunting ground after because of the routing. So again, here just another puzzle here. You turn them around, and the light leads back to the source. So right after this, as soon as I've activated this, Cyan, which is the AI here, is going to start talking. And while she's talking, I'm going to be crafting ammo. The reason why I craft ammo while somebody is talking most of the time is because when you craft ammo, the game actually slows down. So I'm trying to time it whenever somebody's talking, because the game cannot slow down if somebody's talking, because dialogue is not slowed down. So essentially, it just cancels each other out. So you can see it starts talking here, and I can craft ammo without the conversation slowing down. And that's just a nice little way to save some time. And of course, reloading my weapons so they're set up for the next fight. Because your weapons are gonna stay like this as long as you don't die or accidentally switch arrows. If I switch to another arrow type, my reload there is gone, for example. Now that is done, and we can talk to Rhea and be on the way to the hunting ground.
You heard it. He not left. It's.
He's
She. I look. She. But it
There's
kept
a little bit of lag there.
both
weak.
Made me pick the wrong conversation
Your
option.
end.
Sometimes
Or do
the game lags a little bit when you skip the conversations, and you pick the wrong one, and it's because of it, because you think you can move on. Again, turning the camera here, so the mount spawns behind me where I'm supposed to go. And then we're gonna switch out my firebow for the Stormslinger, which is the weapon we use for the hunting ground. So there are 2 hunting ground trials you can complete at this point in the game, and we only have to complete one of them. And the fastest one is the one with the Stormslinger, called the Control Trial, where you have to use the Stormslinger and kind of prove that you can use it, I guess. Where we have to kill 1 Ravager and 6 smaller machines. Now, the problem with the Stormslinger is that the more you shoot it, the more damage it does to the enemies. But if you overshoot it too much, it's going to do damage to you. And on ultra hard, it does enough damage to kill you, so you cannot overcharge the shot too much. But again, you want to overcharge it so you can, you know, do as much damage as possible. That's the gist of the trial. I'm going to try and take out the 4 small machines that are going to be on the right-hand side here in the hunting ground first. So they are not going to be close to me when the Ravager is there. And hopefully the Ravager is going to stay in the back for as long as possible. That's kind of what I want to see from him. Because if he goes towards me immediately, that's going to make it a little bit harder, because then I have to work around that. Basically having to dodge him while taking out other machines, or him, for that matter. So there's going to be an on-screen timer here, because it is a hunting ground town. A really good one would be... a really good time is anything over 30 seconds, but an average one is below 40, if you want to pay attention to that. And you also noticed here that I am shooting the ground and not directly at the enemies, unless they're pretty far away, like he just was there. It still damages them when they're on, when you're shooting at the ground, and it's just easier to aim for the ground that they're standing on. And he is running away. He is not really in the mood for that. I can just not kill him. There we go. That took forever. So like I said, an average one should be below 40 seconds, but this has not gone according to plan. Plus the Stormslinger here has quite a lot of recoil. And you can see that right there I took damage because I overshot it When it's overcharged, it does damage back to you.
I beat a champion.
So that was not very good, but moving on. Now we're gonna head back to Song's Edge where we... Hello? There we go. Couldn't pick it in the menu, that's why you sometimes want to turn on your items on the map so you can pick the one you want. Yeah, so now we're gonna challenge Aratak here, so we just go back to Song's Edge, and then we're actually gonna go back to the campfire we activated earlier at the tallneck while we were inside the cave for the Warwick challenge. So right here we just need to wait for the loading screen, and then we can talk to Aratak and immediately move on. So here, immediately go to Aratak. He's invincible right now, but he is gonna load in.
I thought him people. I didn't.
I want it if I
And see.
There we go. And then we're gonna head straight to the challenge. The challenge essentially has 3 parts, where you have to kill 3 different types of enemies. The first one I kind of consider, or the last one is kind of considered a separate one, with the 3 frost claws at the end. But I'll talk about that one because that is, in my personal opinion, the hardest fight in the game, or in this run. To do really fast is the last part of this. I also, before I traveled to from the hunting ground, I switched out my Stormslinger for the Rattler, which is essentially just a shotgun type weapon that does a lot of spread damage. I'm gonna use that on the frost claws because it's really good at knocking off armor pieces. So now moving on here, we're now in the challenge. There's a time on screen, don't worry about it. We're not even gonna get close to it, hopefully. I said that last time, I should probably not jinx myself twice. But we'll see how it goes. So essentially now we just have to climb up this mountain here, and then there's gonna be a lot of machines at the top. There's gonna be 3 Lanthorns, 3 Watchers, and 2 long legs. Which are the machine types we're gonna see here. I wanna take out the what are they called? I'm gonna take out the Lanthorns first, because they have a tendency to run away from you rather than come to you. So we don't want to have to chase them down. Yeah, we don't want to chase them down later, so... and then after that, depending on what the long legs does, is what I'm gonna do here. Hopefully the long legs are gonna come straight at me from the start, and that's gonna...
Alright, Challenger.
after I kill these Lanthorns here, because then I can take them out immediately. If not, I'm gonna go for the Watchers, so we'll see how it goes here. I'm gonna try to hit triple shots here in the back of these Lanthorns here, because that's where a lot of their weak points are, and you can get one-shots like I did on the first 2, and he's gonna run away. So I'm gonna go for Watcher here, because the long legs are not that close. They're actually pretty far away right now. Now he's close, and I can freeze him. There's also one to my side, so I have to dodge that. Again, don't want to hit their bellies, because that's gonna knock you off your feet. Even though it does a lot of damage to them, them knocking you off your feet is not something you want. Like that. Basically, you just freeze them over and try to hit them in the eyes, kind of like we saw with the Sawtooth at the beginning. And there we go, that's the last Watcher. So now we can move on to the second part, where we have to kill 2 Bellowbacks, which are the big machines with the tanks on their back, or the fuel tanks. I'm gonna try to hit the fuel tanks, because these are freeze Bellowbacks. So if I explode the freeze tanks on their back, they're gonna freeze over, and that makes I can do a lot more damage to them. Hopefully, what I want to see here is the second Bellowback in the background. I want him to be as close to me as possible. It's a little bit RNG, but hopefully it's going to be close enough so that when I kill the first one, I don't have to jump down this cliff to get enough range to hit the second one. You're going to see here, I'm going to hit the tank on the last one there. Again, using triple shots to do a lot of damage. Too bad the other one is too far in the back, so I have to jump down this cliff. This means I now have to dodge the enemies while I kill this last one if they attack me, so I'm just gonna listen. Okay, they actually didn't attack me. That's nice of them. Usually there's a Ravager running around and he really likes to just attack you every time. You have to jump down.
And now to the marker.
So now moving on, now we have the Frost Claws coming up, which is again the harder fight. There's gonna be 3 Frost Claws with these like bear-like creatures. But the first thing we're gonna do here is do a little skip here. Instead of taking the normal zipline route down, I'm just gonna jump off the edge here and then go down this side here.
To the valley.
Because the checkpoint for the fight is actually extending far beyond the zipline. So we can just go to the left here on the first one, hit his shoulder so he freezes, hit him twice, and then hit him a 3rd time while you jump off. Because the other machine is doing that ground attack there, and if you don't jump off, he's gonna hit you immediately. And then I'm gonna try to hit the other guy's shoulder here so they freeze over, and be very careful with my health. Again, trying to switch to the Rattler here to knock off the armor pieces. He unfroze himself pretty quickly. I have to freeze these last 2 guys twice. And they are really aggressive here, and I'm dead. So again, I was on low health there, and both of them attacked me at the same time. I tried to roll between their legs. That's the safest way to go about it, but it's a little hard when there's 2 of them at once. Now we just have to do the fight again. Good thing about it, when you do it a second time, it's a little harder because you have less time to kill the first one. And they're basically in an animation right now where they have to move, do that little animation at the start, so that gives you enough time to move around here. And I'm trying to hit the... Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to heal. Gotta remember your menu in the bottom corner changes when you die, so you don't have your correct thing selected. Again here, I'm trying to roll between their legs so that they don't attack me, because they don't have any attacks that can attack you from like a 180-degree angle. And you want to hit either their bellies or their shoulders, because that's where you can freeze them. That's the second one down. Now we just need to deal with one more. Again, roll between the legs, because then you end up behind them and they can't attack you immediately. And right now I'm just looking for an opening to hit either his shoulder or his belly, but if he's gonna move around like that, that's gonna be a little hard. Go for shoulder. Yeah, he's not giving me a whole lot of openings. And Aratak, who is helping me in this fight, he's pretty much useless, because for some reason he uses an ice rail on these guys, and since they're Frost Claws, ice basically doesn't do any damage to you at all, or to them at all. There we go, he's down. So that could have gone a little bit better, but it was also second try, but it's fine. And I didn't talk about the Rattler. I used the Rattler there, so when they're frozen the first time, I can knock off the armor pieces on the shoulders and get some easier shot on the shoulders. So coming up here is some more towers on the way here, because now we're gonna go to the last part of this DLC area here. But on the way, we're gonna use a mount to ride there. But there are these control towers, and as I said, they affect your mount as well. So, by the way, I take intentional damage there because I don't want my shield. Because as you can see here, my shield is going to be recharging when that pulse hits me. And when I have taken... and that... Okay, didn't explode. There we go. Because that way I'm going to have my shield when I go past these guys. Because otherwise they have actually quite a lot of one-shot attacks on me. Flip the camera and whistle. And I still got a bad spawn. That's how it goes. But yeah, I have to take out these towers because they are going to be affecting my mount here when I ride to the next section. I could just walk there, but it takes a lot longer. It's actually faster to just kill the towers. You're going to see here when the pulse is going to be sent out from this tower. It's going to hit my mount and then stun him. So that's why I need to take out the towers, otherwise I'm not going to be able to use my mount to ride past them. You can also go around them, but again, it is just faster to kill the towers. There's gonna be one more before we get to the end here of this section, and then we'll be moving on to the Cloud Run or the volcano here in the Frozen Wilds,
They've seen me.
where the last couple of fights gonna be taking place. So right here, the tower is on my right here. Yeah, you can see it. And I basically have a spot I know where I'm supposed to go off my mount, because if you stay on your mount and he gets hit, he's gonna stay deactivated after the tower. So you have to jump up off before the pulse hits you, and so that's why you need to jump off at those specific spots. Otherwise, you can immediately jump back on him after you destroy the tower. Also, another effect those towers have, enemies around the tower are also being healed by it, which you're gonna see in the last fight we're gonna do here.
Aloy? No.
Alright.
Yeah. You.
Now we're gonna go inside this place. And yeah, it's gonna be a few little skips here on the start before we get to the end of it. So right here, since there's just a lot of movement here, I guess we can throw in a couple of donations, if we have any.
We have $50 from Anonymous. And then we have a $10 donation from Anonymous saying whoop whoop hype. And then lastly we have another $30 from Anders.
And also the donation goal that we're going to be doing the flying mount, if we reach the donation goal, guys, is going to be after the run, so you still have some time, but I'd say you probably have like 12 more minutes or something before we are at the end. So just keep that in mind. Actually, not 12 more minutes, a little more than that, but you know, time is running out if you want to see the flying mount. So right here, we're going to come up here where this section basically splits in half, where you can go down here and there's a lot of enemies, which is actually what we're going to do, because you can actually just run by them. The game doesn't force you to kill these enemies at all. But I'm gonna stay on the right side here, because I also don't want them to attack me, because there's two scrabbers and a behemoth here, and they actually do quite a lot of damage to you if they were to hit. He is gonna hit me once, yep, which happens, but he's not gonna hit me when I'm opening this door. He doesn't do that. And right behind this door is another frost claw, but again, you don't have to kill these guys, you can just go past them. There's another path to the right side you can also do, but it's longer, but the enemies are a lot easier. And then we have a hologram here that we are forced to watch, which we also see in the main game. Right here I'm just gonna loot these boxes, because there's a chance that one of them is gonna drop an extra healing potions, and you know, safety first. It's just nice having healing potions for this run. And then again, trying to craft ammo while she's talking, so we don't have to slow down the game. And I also have to stop in between the sentences, otherwise it's going to delay the start of the second sentence. And then make sure all the weapons are loaded. So coming up here after this hologram, we are going to be fighting right down here, and you can actually see all the enemies here. There's a Scorcher up here, a Scrapper. Two Scrappers actually, and two Watchers. So the battle plan is to stealth kill the first two Watchers we are seeing right here, so these machines does not notice us. There's a chance they still will, but we want this guy to be as close to that door as possible, because as soon as the fight is over, we need to open that door. So if we can finish the fight and right next to that door, that would be awesome. So that's why we stealth kill the first two Watchers. Otherwise, they're just gonna run straight down towards, which means we are gonna fight. We're going to be pretty far from the door when the fight is happening. So that's the battle plan for this situation. And the hologram here that we were forced to watch is going to end right here, and that opens this door. So the way I'm going to be stealth killing them is just walk up to them and do the spear attack, the stealth strike. You actually don't have to really be stealthy at all. You can just slide and stab. Because when you slide in this game, it actually counts as you being stealthy. So that's why I can just pretty much almost run to watch them and then slide, stab. He's gonna spot me right there, so that is gonna mean, yeah. But that's fine, because I'm gonna be able to make a good progress towards the door here. Before the scrap. Oh, there he is. There's the Scorcher. I want to freeze this guy and be careful of his attacks. He is the most aggressive enemy in this entire game. So hopefully I can freeze him as fast as possible, so I can focus on that. I have to be careful with that Watcher. Oh, sorry, Scrap. And my health. What? Okay. I'm dead again. So he apparently killed me right after I killed him, so I guess we kind of traded there. That sucks. Oh well, we get to see it again. I did play it a little risky there, but I was sure I was gonna be able to kill him there before he got to me, so... that's a little bit of a shame, because that means now that I'm dead, none of my weapons are reloaded, but we'll work it out. Worst things could have happened. Also, the stealth strat is no longer working after you die, because the second Watcher is gonna hear you. So basically our entire battle plan technically failed. As you can see here with this guy, oh, forgot I didn't have a triple shot loaded. As you can see, he's just capable of doing a lot of damage real quick, because he basically has almost 0 time in between his attacks. Where's the last one? At least they're not attacking me this time. Oh well, we made it past it. So now there's actually going to be one more enemy here before we're allowed to go through this door, which is going to be a thunder door here. And again, we want him to be as close to the door as possible, so what we're going to do is we're going to stand right here, and that's going to force him to charge attack us. Hopefully. There we go. So we're going to stand right here, bait him up here as soon as he gets to us, roll to the side, and then try to freeze him here. Now we have to watch out for his tail here, because that is a very scary ribbon he has, and he is not behaving nicely to me. I want to be able to hit him from the side, because then I can hit the heart here. And he is not giving me an ability to shoot. No? There we go. So as you can see, I hit him right there in those side plates there, and that allows me to do almost 4,000 damage on him. And that's how you take him down. Normally you wanna be, when you're done freezing him, you wanna be on the side of him so you can start shooting the heart there immediately. But unfortunately I did a kind of a poor job. It seemed like he was going to go for a tail attack, which does a lot of damage to me, and I wanted to move out of the way for that. But normally you want to be pushing him towards the side, or be standing to his side when he's freezing over. That way you can almost land 2 4,000 damage shots before he turns around.
Doesn't look like there's much choice.
So now we have another... now we have this little puzzle here where you have to go over this vent here, but this game is perfectly programmed, so... One more second, please. This game is perfectly programmed, so... This is not going well, is it? Okay, what am I doing wrong here? One sec.
Stay here until I find a way from.
There we go. You can just roll through that, is what I was trying to say, and be all cocky about it, but no. I had to mess it up. But yeah, you can just long roll through that. You don't have to deactivate it before you can go through it. So yeah. And then we override this one, and then we wait for box here. Again, you can actually jump from the place you overridden here, and she's actually gonna log onto it here. You don't have to go around and climb up to these boxes like you would normally do. But with a well-timed jump, you can jump up to those boxes.
Come on over.
And right here, I am gonna be standing in this door here. I don't want to be looking at Aratak or Rhea, because they are the only ones that can open these purple door things, or the things that are in the way. The reason why I don't want to be looking at them, because they actually open the door faster if you don't look at them.
More like the mountain used to be.
And that basically just allows you to move on a lot quicker. You're gonna see that door 2 more times where I'm just gonna basically be ignoring them.
Restraints evaded to any human responder.
Basically be
My
ignoring
systems
them
have been compromised
to
by a malware daemon of unknown origin.
speed them up a little bit.
Trace routes have confirmed this entity's designation as
Coming up
Hephaestus.
here is another fight here where we're gonna have to kill 2 Scorchers and a couple of Watchers. I want to take out one of the Scorchers before before they start moving around, because that way I only have to fight one of them at once. So I'm gonna need another weapon in order to do that. So I'm gonna switch on my warbow here in a second, which allows me to shoot freeze arrows, and that way I can freeze enemies at a distance, which is very useful in this scenario. So right here, going into my inventory and switch out for the warbow. There we go. And now we have our freeze arrows here, so I can freeze him at a distance. He's going to be right there in the middle. And the other Scorcher is going to be to the side. So hopefully I can freeze and kill him before the other guy even gets close to me. So I can use these triple freeze arrow shots. Now he's frozen. This was pretty fast, so now I should be able to kill him without a problem, like that. And then I want to take out that Watcher, turn to my right, because there's another Watcher. And the first Watcher didn't die, so we gotta be careful with that. The last Watcher is not close to me yet. He is really trying to kill me. And there's also a Watcher here. I really want to avoid him, because obviously if he hits me, I cannot shoot back at him. You'll also notice there's these Shell Walkers. You don't have to kill the Shell Walkers at all. Just leave them alone, then they'll move on. With the Watcher, he's there. There we go. Then right after the fight, there's these 2 conveniently placed pyramids here that you can use to get up here, and then you're already on the other side ready to override instead of having to use the climbing path that you can kind of see behind me there. Because normally you have to use that climbing path to get over here, but there's just those 2 pyramids that for some reason you can jump on and get over here. Again, not gonna look at them because that makes them get up here a lot faster and open the door faster. So just gonna be ignoring them and wait for them to get here. Just gonna listen for when they're close to me. Because when they're close to me, I kind of have to move a little bit back in order to get them to open. There we go. And Aratak should say his line. There we go. That's why you can manipulate them to get up here faster. Right here, I'm gonna throw myself off here so I can use this conveniently placed stuff to get down. And then we can override again here. Now I just need to set my weapons up here for the final fight.
The reconfiguration of this facility has introduced instabilities into the primary.
So now there's only one fight left where we fight the Fireclaw at the end, but there's another room here we have to go through, which is basically a giant room where you have to climb all over the place to get through the entire thing. But there's some very convenient skips you can do to skip the entire thing, instead of having to climb around this entire room. And it's actually extremely simple. So what we're gonna do here is, there's these walls here that are at an angle. You can just run up them and get to the... Now we're already halfway through the room. And then we can just override this. And we're gonna do the exact same thing to skip the last part of the room. It's just a little cutscene here where the vents turns on. You can see all the climbing stuff and spots you have to go through to get around this place, but again, you don't really have to do any of that. Because here's the second wall here that you can just run up to and get to this spot. And then when this one gets back in, you can climb up to it, and that way you skip the rest of the room. Because now we're at the end of the room where we can jump onto the flying crates and move back to the start of the room where we have to go activate a bridge for Aratak and Aurea. Just taking out that Watcher so he doesn't shoot me while I'm trying to jump on this. And yeah, so I guess we have time for, if there's any donations here, this is probably going to be the last time we have time for them.
Yeah, we have $5 from Anonymous and another $5 from another Anonymous.
Nice. So right here I'm just on this crate here. Normally you have to take it to the end, but you can actually just jump off on this arm here that's sticking out. There we go. And then you're already ready here to override this thing, so they can get across, and then we'll be on our way to the final fight
The others will have
of
a lot
the
easier time
run
getting
here. Again, once again, don't look at them, otherwise they're gonna take a lot longer to get here. Because there's also a chance they kind of teleport behind you when you're not looking at them, because that's just a feature to make them catch up, so they never get too far away from you.
This looks like
So once again we have one of those light puzzles here before the final fight, where we have to what's it called? Bring the light backs to the source, and then we can move on to the final fight. This last one is actually, in my personal opinion, a lot easier than the second one, but oh well. Because we don't have to move as many pieces here to get it to the end.
but we have to find out.
Turn it the wrong way. You'll be surprised how many times I actually mess that up whenever I do runs normally. It's always the simple things I have a tendency to mess up. Or maybe I just notice them because they're supposed to be simple. There we go. Now gonna be the final fight with the Fireclaw, which is
Keep moving towards the
a
core.
fight a lot of people probably had problems with when they played this.
Whatever Cyan did, I don't think
But there's a way we can actually abuse the fight here at the start. So there's gonna be these control towers that spawn, and they obviously take away my shield. They also repair the Fireclaw. So we're gonna have to destroy them as fast as possible. Otherwise they're gonna repair him and the fight is gonna take a lot longer. But first we're gonna freeze him here. This is interesting. Normally he is not in this position. Again, I can roll through his leg and freeze him from behind. Okay, he's frozen. Then we shoot his butt. And then he's gonna use fire to unfreeze himself. And then the first tower is gonna spawn once he's at half health. Couldn't get out of the way now. Again, now hopefully the fight can go normal this time. I don't know why the game is acting so weird right now. He's not normally in that position at the start of the fight, by the way. But that's a marathon for you.
Cyan said something about restraints.
No, I just need to set up my weapons again, otherwise this fight is not gonna go well. So let's try again. Now he's in the correct spot. So he's always gonna do this animation at the start where he kind of flexes his muscles or whatever. And while he's doing that, we can actually just walk behind him and freeze him here. But he's not gonna be in that animation for long, so you have to be able to freeze him before that. Just a reminder, if you get too close to him, he's not gonna be frozen anymore. There we go, the first tower spawned, so he's already lost half of his health. And we're gonna take it out as soon as we have a chance, so we don't heal him too much. And then I wanna... Right now he has this fire shield on, so I cannot freeze him. Gonna see when it turns off here. It's off now. Now we're gonna try and freeze him again here and try to keep to the side. Heal, heal, heal. It's close. Again, roll. There we go. Does take a little bit of concentration. It's kind of hard to talk while doing this. There we go. Now the last tower is gonna spawn, and then right after this tower I should be able to kill him in 2 shots, unless he Of course, he unfroze himself, so now I can do a lot of damage. There's also a watcher next to me that's doing damage to me. Instead of that, we now have to aim for his belly here, which is the weak spot he has. Either his eyes or his belly here. Okay, he does that attack. That's very nice of him. And he kills me again. That's another one of the attacks that can one-shot you. He was supposed to do the ground attack there, but then he decided to do his belly flop, and that kills you in one shot. Yeah. This is not going that well.
Cyan said something about restraints.
Oh well. Let's see if we can do this really fast now.
Cyan, you're just about. This won't be easy. Can't let it stop us.
Raise him over like that, and then hit his butt here with these metal things on his back.
Another tower! Stop it from repairing the beast! That pulse gives them energy. Repairs them.
Go. I am just trying to focus here so I can get this over with. This is already not going well, so let's not drag it out anymore. That's the attack I wanted to do him before, but he cancelled it immediately and went into his belly flop. Right here I can get some side shots on his belly.
The tower. Don't let her repair the machine.
Watch out behind the left here that he doesn't come jumping out. Not that aggressive this time around, which is nice of him. And again, the three weak spots he has where he doesn't have any armor is either his eyes, his belly, or his butt. So I'm just trying to hit those here to finish him off. I could freeze him here, but since we're already on the last cycle, it's not necessary because he's already down. And there we go, that's the last fight. Didn't go as well here, and there's another thing we just have to do before the run is over here, even though the combat is over. We have to go and talk to Cyan and Aratak here at the end, back at Orea's retreat. And as soon as we talk to Aratak here at the end, that's gonna be time. But yeah, you can see that Fireclaw fight there is pretty tough. As I said, or I don't think I pointed that out, but he does have a couple of shots or attacks that can just one-shot you, and one of them was that belly flop that basically what happened in that fight was he was going to do that ground attack where he takes the ground, but since I went to his side, obviously he's going to cancel the ground attack because he's not going to be able to do anything with it. And then he just immediately went into the belly flop, and I just didn't react in time, or I didn't have enough time to react, but that's essentially how I died on that attempt. So yeah, so right here we just need to talk to Cyan real quick, and then we go talk to Aratak, and that's gonna be the run.
I should.
And back to the campfire because it's faster than walking out, and as soon as I talk to him, that's gonna be time. There we go. So yeah, not the best run at all, but but yeah, hopefully I showed off the run pretty well enough, and I'll try to get a lot better in time and redeem my dignity another time. But for now, hopefully you enjoyed it, and yeah. Did we meet the donation incentive, by the way?
We did not quite make the incentive.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'm just gonna leave it with thanks to everybody in the Horizon community who has helped with this run, finding strats and all that. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I'll hopefully we're gonna be able to do a better run next time we are here. So yeah. Other than that, I don't really have much more to say. I'm gonna be back in probably around an hour doing some co-commentary on Crash. And in the meantime, you guys can enjoy some Kingdom Hearts. So yeah,
And why this
Thanks for
story
watching,
was
guys.
so important. For so long she told me.
Situations that always occurred, complications that made it all worse, obligations we needed to keep. Now you're saying you still want me. Never would have thought that I would be dancing with you under the dark sky. Never would have thought that you would be singing with me under the big moon. Never in a million years would I think we'd be here. Never in a million years would I think we'd be here.
Hello and welcome
Hello.
back to ESA Winter 2019. I'm Charisse and this is Eidgod, and you just watched Horizon Zero Dawn by ElkjaerTV. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Did you like it?
Yeah, but, I mean, I've seen it in summer. I was hosting at the same
Well,
time,
it-
so
Yes.
yeah, I know, but I know the game. You know, it's not. I don't know the DLC, but I know the game, so I knew what to expect, and it was nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He just played the DLC.
Yeah, that's what I said. What? I said he played the DLC, so I know how the game works.
No, that's not what you said.
Did I not?
No.
You're lying to me.
I'm
Okay.
not.
And next up, we'll have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix HD, Ventus Critical Hit Level 1 Any Percent by Rebel Dragon 95. So obviously the Kingdom Hearts series is very dear to a lot of people's hearts. I did no pun intended, okay? No pun intended. That just happened. And have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?
Oh, no.
It's okay, me neither. So we're obviously the most qualified to talk about this.
Yes.
With all the secondhand
Oh.
information I've been given.
Well, we know that what you're gonna watch right now is it's not the first game.
No.
But it's
It's a prequel to the first game? That's what you said, right?
Don't blame him.
I think the story is before the story of the first game, if I've been...
It's
yes.
the first story, like the story for the first game, but it's not the first game.
Yes, something like that.
Yes. We know. It's okay.
It's okay, it's okay. Trust us, we're professionals. And yeah, there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts story because there's been a lot of Kingdom Hearts games over the years, and honestly, even if you're a fan, it's hard to keep track at this point, so don't blame us.
Okay. Damn.
Alright, and we have a couple more donations we could be reading.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to read first, or should I?
You go first, I would say.
Okay,
Ladies
so
first.
Penny donated $5 saying, Elkjaer is cute, cute!
And we have a and we have another $5 donation from Quimper donating saying for the kids, which is in fact true because we are raising money for Save the Children, and yeah, Save the Children is the charity of our choice, and they're supporting children worldwide. That's their main mission essentially, and they have their 100-year anniversary this year. So they've been founded 1919. And they've been helping children worldwide ever since. Yeah.
It's a great charity.
It is. We're getting some heckle comments here. Apparently it's also the world's leading charity to help children. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're having a good time. We had some small problems before with a bit of audio and a few minor things. But you know, we just started. This is the first day, so hopefully most things will be fixed soon or are already fixed. And just have some patience with us. We're trying our best.
Yeah, I guess we can send it over to Rebel Dragon. I hope you have a good run. Yeah?
Yeah, if they're ready, let's go.
Hey guys,